This is about a company, ABC Limited, new company, and is into the business of manufacturing and selling laptops. Okay, let's say there's this new company, ABC Limited, which manufactures and sells laptops. They sell only to corporates, so they just sell to businesses. They do not do any individual sales. Manufacturing of the laptop is done, so they are already done with the manufacturing part. The next thing that they have to get into is selling those laptops. So they already have a big lot of laptops which have already been manufactured. They need to start selling those and doing the marketing of those. The next part that I talk about here is that they are looking for a sales marketing team that can suggest them. So they want someone to come and help them into the sales and marketing side. And now while they are in the hunt of the sales marketing team, you are one of those shortlisted team members, okay, and you are required to propose a sales marketing process to them, and based on the process you recommend, you will be hired. So let us not focus on this last line. Fine. So this is basically an activity kind of a thing which we will do here as collectively. So the point is that let us just understand the scenario. There is this company ABC Limited which is into producing and selling laptops. There is a new company, they have not done sales ever before, and they decide, they have manufactured the laptops. They just have to start the selling process and the manufacturing thing. They want someone to help them into the sales and marketing thing, and we are the people, so we are the team which has been shortlisted, and we have to suggest them how should they start their sales and marketing process, right? So we will talk about the process of the sales, and we will parallelly look into the Salesforce CRM application which is there, which can help us track all those things whatever we are suggesting. So we will try to map the process with the kind of the objects that we have in the Salesforce CRM, right? So we'll see how Salesforce CRM is going to be useful for this company, or how Salesforce CRM is used in a general sales process. That is what we are going to look into. Fine, and we will collectively work on this. So the point is, I think this part is clear with everyone, right? A company which is into selling laptops. Third thing, they just want to sell it to corporates, which means they do not want to sell to individuals. Yeah, so they just want to sell it to businesses. They don't want to sell it to individuals. Manufacturing is already over. Sales needs to be started. Sales and marketing. Okay, let's go and work on this. Scenario is clear to everyone. Anyone has any question on this? No? Good. So let us go and start understanding scenario a little better. So one, they have already manufactured laptops. So they have some, let's say 10,000 laptops which have been manufactured. So these laptops, or the product that they have manufactured or produced, they can be different models of it, or different variations available, right? So out of 10,000 they might have produced 2,000 basic laptops, 3,000 or 4,000 some with a few features, and at 1 or 2,000 laptops with all the features fully loaded, that sort of thing, right? So they can be different models and all, right? So this information needs to be tracked somewhere. There's an information, if you have 10 different models and there are features, different features in all these models, the pricing is different. That needs to be tracked somewhere, and your CRM also needs to have this information tracked. So let's go to this sales application that it has provided, Salesforce has provided. So we'll try and understand. Basically the point is to understand this application and understand these tabs. What all data goes into these tabs and how the data flows from one place to the other place. Okay. So all the products that you have manufactured, that needs to be stored somewhere. Where will it get stored? It will get stored under the products. Okay. So all the different models you have, the different pricing for them, the features associated with each of the model, that should be tracked in the products. So this is the table This tab connects you to the table where you have the option of listing your products. Let's say model, sorry. Okay, you have that option. If there is a product code, you can put that thing here. If there is a product family, in case your company only does not, laptop is not the only thing that they provide. If they are manufacturing tablets and the mobile phones and the cameras also, then you can have a product family. You can put all the description here, right? So this is the standard thing which has been provided by Salesforce. In case you feel that no, I want to track more features, you always have that option. You can customize this, fine. So whatever we are discussing right now, there's nothing right or wrong in that. It is just the standard thing that Salesforce has provided, fine. And then every company has a different way of tracking details. Every product will have different attributes which need to be tracked, like we are talking about laptops. So there can be certain fields which are very specific to laptops. In case you are talking about something, some other product, then you will need to track those attributes and all, right? So for that side, customization will take care of that part. So right now what we are taking up, we are just talking about the basic Salesforce thing that they have provided. So they have provided a very generic kind of an object where these fields can be tracked. Okay. This option of active or inactive, so any product which is active means it is still available for sale and all. Sometimes what happens, some of the models are outdated and the company stops manufacturing and stops selling them. So in that case you should go and inactive them, make it inactive, deactivate it or something like that. Clear on this? So all the products that this company has produced, different varieties, variations, those need to be tracked there, right? So in this case we are just talking about laptops. We could have talked about mobile phones and the tablets and all those things. So everything, whatever you have, everything should be tracked under the products thing. So this is where all your products will be tracked. Next. Now you have tracked all the products. Now what is the next thing? You will start promoting your laptops, right? So you will do some promotional events or activities. You will need to promote it somewhere, right? So this promotion can be through various ways. It can be sending emails. You might want to make phone calls. You might want to put it on a website. Put big hoardings, go to the companies, do the demonstrations, do a conference or a seminar, invite all the people from different companies, whatever. Put a newspaper ad, put a magazine ad. All these are promotional activities. Now, all these promotional activities which you are trying to do, they also need to be tracked. Which promotional activity you are doing, when are you starting that, when do you end that? That thing also need to be tracked somewhere, right? So in our sales application, there is a tab called campaigns. Okay, so there is this campaigns object at the back end. All those promotional activities will be tracked under this campaigns. So let's say you are doing a conference. Let's say you're doing a conference in Los Angeles and there's an active campaign. Again, active campaign is something which is still active. There can be campaigns which you have stopped doing or you are not doing any further. Those will be inactive campaigns. Okay. So I said you're doing a conference. So there are different types of promotional activities which are listed here. Telemarketing, email, whatever you have. So you can select one of these. We also have an option of adding more options to this, but this is again something which we'll look into when we go into customization. So Then what is the status of it? Is it in planned one or in progress? Let's say this is planned and I plan to do it in August, and there's something which I'll start from August 1st till August 30th, and I'm expecting to generate a revenue of let's say $500,000, and I'm planning to spend $20,000 on this. So I have an expected revenue, I have a budgeted cost. Actual cost you will get to know only after the campaign is done, right? So why are we tracking this thing? We are tracking this thing so that we have all our promotions or all our promotional activities listed in one place, right? The basic concept behind having this CRM and all that is what? That you can hello, can you hear me? Okay. So the concept, the sole concept or the basic concept behind this having CRM is what? So that all the information can be tracked properly, right? So this tracking all the campaign helps you understand which all campaigns you did. So if you want to do an analysis at a later point of time and want to understand which all campaigns you did and which all were successful, you can have these numbers which will help you understand that, okay, when last year in August I did this campaign and this was this much successful. This year I want to do this or I do not want to do this. So that is the thing. All right, clear on that part? Okay. So this campaign thing is one.
Okay. Quick question. Sorry, who is going to do this job? Like creating a campaign and all the things. The developer is going to do that, or just somebody going to do it from from admin side?
Usually an end user, not even administrator.
End user. Okay.
Right. All right. Okay. So that's about the campaign thing. That is where we enter the campaigns. Now, once you have entered your campaign details and everything, save. Now, post this campaign, once you do this campaign, let's say you started this campaign on this date and this was a conference or something that you were doing, and after this campaign you will receive a few interested prospects or people who show interest. Let's say you're doing this campaign which is a conference, and during this conference you receive a few inquiries, people saying that they are interested. Okay, so let's say we have this gentleman called Santosh Anand who has shown interest. Okay, and this gentleman works for a company called Wipro and he's a sales manager. Fine. So this guy who has shown interest, I need to track his information as well. Where will we track this? This will be tracked under leads. So just click on leads. All the leads, all the interested people will need to be tracked under leads. So just click on new. Track him as a lead. It's from Wipro and his designation is sales manager. And save it. And you can also track from which campaign this lead has come, right? Now this is where you can utilize the campaign. You can understand how many leads you generated from a particular campaign, right? So that is the reason why you have this option of associating a lead with a campaign. But make sure your campaign is active. Only active campaigns can be connected to the leads. So yes, I got this lead from here. Click on save. You can put other details, phone, mobile, fax, and all those things. I'm not getting into that. So all the leads that you generate, you will need to put all those leads here in the leads object. So we have understood the campaign and the lead object. Now what happens? You pick up the phone and you start calling this guy. He has shown interest in the campaign, and he said that they need laptops. Let's say this gentleman came and he said that in Wipro we need 200 laptops. Now the moment someone from our team called him, he said that we need laptops, but I am not the decision maker. If you want to sell laptops, you'll have to talk to our procurement head, whose name is Ram Krishna. Okay, so now he has given us the detail of the procurement head, who is Ram Krishna, right? Quite possible. Now the point is that I need to have one more. Can I go and delete this lead now? No, I need to have this lead also. I mean, I cannot delete information of the first person, and I also need to store the information of second person. Moreover, I cannot go and create one more lead, because if I create one more lead with the Ramakrishna name, what will happen? Those two records will be completely independent. What I want both of them to be linked under one account, because both of them are from Wipro, right? In that case, what you will need to do, the moment you have this kind of requirement, you will convert this lead into account and contacts. So on the lead, once you have saved the lead, you will see this convert button is there. You just need to click on this and convert it into account and contact. So converting a lead does not do anything. It simply breaks a lead into account and a contact. So account will have the company information related to Wipro. Contacts will have all the individual information, people who are working. So in case you need to add more contacts also from Wipro, you can always go ahead and add that. Fine. So this lead I just need to go ahead and convert it. So you might now start feeling that when they had to convert it, why did they put it in the leads object at the first place? Why didn't they put it directly into the account? There's a very simple logic in that, because all the leads that you get, all of them are not valid leads. Some of them are not valid at all. Or the moment you try to call them, you find the phone number is wrong. When you do these kind of events, a lot of people put the wrong phone number, wrong email ID, wrong name. I think you guys also must have been to some of these kind of promotional events, or maybe when you go to some place, they ask you for a feedback form. So they keep on putting all that information in the leads, right? But all the information that is entered into the lead is not correct or validated information. So once the lead is verified and everything, then they have made this provision of converting into account and contact. However, as a company, you can decide to put it directly into account and contacts and not create leads. But that will result in too much of useless kind of a data in the accounts and contacts. So that is to avoid that part. There is this leads object. Fine. Okay. Now let me convert this. So when I convert it, what will happen? Wipro, the company related information will go into account. Individual related information will go into the contact. So just click on the convert button here. So this convert button is a standard functionality. So it will go ahead and create an account, a contact, and it also asks you whether you want to create an opportunity or not, right? So opportunity is basically account has all the company information, contact has all individuals information, POCs, point of contacts, or the decision makers in the company, those will be listed in the contact. Where would you track the details of the deal? Company name you are tracking here, individuals information you are tracking here, but you need some place where you can track the information related to your deal also. What is the prospect, or what is the opportunity that you have. You have an opportunity of selling 200 laptops in the month of November. Let's say they are planning to buy in the month of November. Where will this information be stored? That they are planning to buy 200 laptops in the month of November. And what is the status of that? So that information also needs to be tracked. That is something which will go into the opportunity. So account, contact, opportunity, right? So the moment you click on convert, it converts it into one account plus one contact plus one opportunity. In case you don't want to create the opportunity, you have that option of saying do not create a new opportunity upon conversion. So if you click this, opportunity will not be created. So let me not create an opportunity right now. Click on convert. So we already have a Wipro account here. Create new. All right. So the account is created and the contact is also created. Now you are not on leads anymore. You have come to the accounts part. If I scroll down a little, you'll see you have created an account called Wipro and you have all the fields available for this account. You can put the type, industry, revenue, billing address, shipping address, employees, so all the information related to company you can put, right? So now you have the scope of putting pretty much detailed information for the company. You also have the option of putting the contacts here. So under this account, now there is one contact. As I said, we have one more contact to be added. Now you can add the other contact here. Mr. Who is the procurement head? Put their phone number. So you have the option of storing more information related to the company and related to each individual. Put their mobile numbers, phone numbers and all those things. That's fine, right? Now you realize that there is an opportunity also that you need to track that part of information as well. So just go to the account. You can go to opportunity and create that, or you can simply go to account, and under the account, if you scroll down a little, you will see the opportunities. What all opportunities you have under this account. You can create a new opportunity from here, or you can simply go to this opportunities tab and create an opportunity from here. So let me create an opportunity with this data. 200 laptops for Wipro. Whatever name you want to give to the opportunity, you can give it. Connect it with this account name. What is the amount that you are expecting? Let's say this is the amount that I am expecting. What is the close date? Close date of an opportunity basically means when the opportunity is expected to close or when the opportunity is expected to mature. So let's say it matures on 12th November. They have told you that they are planning to buy on somewhere around 12th of November. So you just say that. Then opportunity also has the option of tracking all the stages. Okay. Why stages? Because opportunity is something which will go through several stages. So it starts and then it moves on, and then there are negotiations which happen. Before negotiations, you need to give them the price quotations. There are, they review the pricing. So a lot of things happen, right? So that is the reason why there are these stages. Again, these stages, the values which are available here, you can go ahead and change it later on. Okay. So finally, either the opportunity will be a one opportunity or a lost opportunity. So opportunity has a complete life cycle. It starts and then it proceeds, and then there are different stages which are there, like value proposition, identifying decision maker, perception analysis, price and quotation, negotiation, and finally either you get the deal or you do not get the deal, right? So getting the deal is one, losing the deal is lost. Fine. So we are clear so far from campaigns till opportunity and the product thing we have talked about, right? Forecast, reports and dashboard. These three are used for the analysis purpose. Okay. So these three tabs are used for doing analysis and all, and we will not talk about them right now. So because there is something that we need to do on that part. It's not just entering the data. So these are the things which we will talk during our analytics part and all, right? Now, once you have, let's say if you have won the opportunity and all, then you have contracts. You will sign an agreement with the customer. Let's say you have won the opportunity. So if you get if the deal gets through, then you need to enter the contracts. So there is an object to track all the contracts. Contract is just the agreement. So with which company, who signed the contract, that sort of thing. When does the contract start? Okay, start date of the contract. These kind of things. How many months contract? Let's say 12 months contract. Save it. Okay. Okay. Now, once there is an agreement, there is an order also associated to that agreement, right? So let's say you've taken an order to deliver certain number of laptops to them. So when does your order start? Date starts tomorrow. Account same Wipro. Okay. Attach it to a contract number. And put all the other details, this billing address, shipping address and all those things. Yep. So orders can be placed and orders can be tracked here. Cases. So once you have sold some product to the customer will frequently come back to you with the complaints and the cases and all those things. So those cases need to be tracked here under the cases object. Let's say there is a customer complaint. You need to track all those customer queries and complaints as well. So those go into the cases thing. So which customer has come? Let's say we received a complaint from Santosh, and it's a high priority complaint, and it talks about. So okay, if you have your products listed here, you can select the product from here, but we do not have the products listed here. Let's say monitor not working properly. Whatever case details and all that stuff, save it. You receive the case through an email. So whatever drop downs you can see, whatever fields you see here, one you can customize all the fields, so you don't have to worry that okay fine what information is going into that object. I'm just talking about the concepts here, and whatever pick list or drop downs we see here, those also can be customized. Like the case origin we just saw in this case, we just had three options: email, phone and website, right? In case you have one more origin of cases, your cases are registered by people directly walking into your service center, and you want to add one more option, walk-in, that can also be done. So those small customizations can be taken care of. Solutions is basically an object which stores the commonly asked or frequently asked question kind of thing. So if there are certain issues which are very common, very frequent, you want to add them into your system so that customer support team while answering to the client they can take reference from here. Those things can be done here. So solution title can be monitor issue, and the solution for that is restart the computer, let's say. So these are the kind of solutions which you can have, in your CRM, so that your customer support team, while helping your customers, can suggest this thing. So first thing they can do is they can go into the solutions, look for a solution if that is available, and they can suggest them, right? All your customers, in case you want to give access to your customers to go ahead and see the solutions themselves, that should also be workable. All right, so do we understand this concept? So we have gone from one end to the other end of this application, sales application, and I just wanted to make sure that you understand this complete app, the flow of things from one place to the other place. Do you get this concept? Please let me know if you have any questions. No? You're fine? Great. All right. So if we are okay on this part.
You talked about contracts and order, right? Are you saying that go in parallel, or like what I have seen is like once an order is placed and the order is fulfilled, a contract is cleared. But in your case, first created a contract and then you have attached it to the order. So is it you can do it in any way? That's what I'm asking. First create an order and
so whatever we saw here, it is just one of the applications. So what we have to understand here is this is just one of the sample applications that we have, and just give me 1 minute. Okay, nothing. So this is a sample application or the pre-built application that Salesforce has provided. We can customize it the way we want, right? So we might want to create the order first and then go into contract. That is absolutely fine. Why they have done this in this way? Because usually what happens, the agreement is signed first. Ideally, what you are thinking is correct, but the agreement is signed first and then you book an order to send the product. Let's say if I go to buy a television set, right? So first of all they will get the invoice and everything done, and then they will place an order to send that to me. So that is a process which works from that side. So but you can have it the other way around. Now every business has a different sorry. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes. Go ahead.
Okay. So, do you guys see my screen?
No.
What is this thing? Give me 1 minute. Hello.
Yes, please, we cannot see your screen.
I know that. I'm not able to make myself present. Ravi, you there? Hello. Yeah. Somehow I'm not able to share my screen. Just give me 1 minute. So in the meanwhile, what I wanted to say is this is a generic application that Salesforce has designed, and I wanted you to understand this one. However, every company can have a different process altogether, right? So like some of the companies also might want to have an invoice object. They say that we will track all the invoice details in the object. Some company may come up with a concept of call it tracking some other information related to the sales, or they just want to do a demonstration on the client location and they want to do track that thing also, that what was the demonstration date, right? So that sort of things can be there. So you can you may require additional objects, but that is completely specific to the company and the business. Okay, so that is it. Let me yeah, now I am the presenter. Now it's fine. Okay. So we understand this pre-built application, right? Now, anything apart from this, the sales application, as I told you earlier, anything which is not a sales application which you need, you can always go ahead and create your own applications, right? And you also have the option of customizing the existing applications. Okay. So here we go and talk about the basic components. So this case study is fine. Now let us understand the components. So the basic components in Salesforce are the objects, the fields, the tabs, the apps. Okay. So apps are the ones which are listed here. Tabs are here, objects are in the back end, the database tables. I think I should have put it in a different order. Okay, apps and tabs are the user interface part of it. So as you can see here, the applications listed here and the tabs listed here, right? The objects and the fields are there. So objects and fields are, object basically refers to a table, database table in the backend. Field refers to the columns of those tables, right? So this is what you have, okay, overall. So when you look into the scenario that we were talking, campaigns is an object and there is a tab for the campaign in the front end, right? So this tab is just a connector or a button for connecting to that object. Like for campaign we have, for leads we have, right? So all these are objects in the back end and we have tabs for them in the front end as well. So what we are going to do here is, we will go ahead and create a simple app, okay, of our own, and we'll see how creating an app works, okay. So let me take a very simple example and create an app where I want to track let's say I'm a recruiting company, or I am a company which is basically into hiring resources and all, or I am a a normal company and I have I have a recruiting thing going on. I want to track the jobs and the candidates. So let us learn how to create this thing. So let's create an app for recruiting management. Okay, sales process we have seen. Let's go ahead and create an app for recruiting management. So it's very simple. You just need to go to setup. As I told you earlier, everything that you want to do on Salesforce will be from the setup menu. So go to setup. You need to go to create and then go to apps. First thing that we'll have to do is we'll have to create an app. So go to setup, create apps. Click on new. Select custom app, go to next. Okay, give a name here. whatever, I mean. So put a label and a name. So label is something that appears there on the front end, whereas yeah, whereas the name is something which is used in the programming side, right? So just put a label and a name for it. Click on next. Just skip this step. Go to next. Okay. So while you're creating the app, you have to select which all tabs you want to put in the app. Okay, which all tabs you want to have in the app. So I do not want any of the tabs, existing tabs. So when we have got pre-installed apps, we have also got pre-installed tabs in this developer edition. Do you want to use any of these in your app? No, I don't want any of these tabs. You can simply go ahead and click on next. Make it visible. For the time being, you just make it visible on step 5 when it says assign to profile. You just make it visible to all and proceed. Don't do anything here. We will talk about this part later. Click on save. And your app is ready. Fine. So recruitment manager app we have just designed and it's ready to use. So if the app is ready, I'll get to see it in the list of the apps. Here all the apps are listed, including your pre-installed apps. This recruitment manager app is also available here, right? Okay, which means I should be able to see it in the apps drop down menu as well. Yes, it is there. So you can click on this recruitment manager app and it will show you the tabs which are under this. So we did not select any tab, so that is the reason why it only shows the home tab, right? No other tab was selected.
Jeet, I have a question. Jeet, for example, let's say you have already one app is available. Just I want to go and clone that app. When I am creating a new app, just I want to clone that existing app. Is there any way to do that?
Yes. So I mean, let us create these apps and other things. You need to understand what exactly is there in an app. Okay. Then we will see cloning an app includes what all things and all, right? Let us understand inside an app what all goes, right?
Okay.
Sorry to interrupt, Jeet. This is Sonali. So I was not able to, see your screen as you were speaking. Your screen is way behind. It's pretty slow. By the time you are done speaking about creating and you might be completed, but I'm not able to see the screen yet. The screen is still not there yet. I do not know if others are facing the same.
1 minute. Yeah. So is that something that everyone is facing, or is that only Sonali is facing?
No, mine is fine. This is the Biksham.
Okay.
Jeet, I'm experiencing, even I'm facing that. I'm facing that, but it's not answered.
Okay. Give me 1 minute. One moment. Hello, can you all hear me? Yeah, can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah, I can hear you.
So can you just confirm if the screen buffering is happening a little faster now? So Sonali, what screen you see now?
Right now you are onto the sales tab, sales app.
Right. So I think this time it's faster, a little faster, right? Okay. So that's good. Let
So
me
that way
do one
you
thing.
go back
I will do that.
you did.
Yeah, I'll do that. I'll do that. So you need to go to setup, and then from setup you will need to come to your create, go to apps.
Sorry, still the same. I still see your hand only on the setup while you have moved on to the app.
What about others? Everyone still is facing the same issue, or how is it?
This is the big shame. I do not have any issue with that.
Ramakrishna, what about you?
Even this is I'm okay. I'm okay with the speed.
Okay. I think Sonali, maybe some problem with your internet buffering or something.
It's
is there a
pretty
way?
much, the network is pretty much on a high.
No, I mean, if that is an issue from my side, that is what I was trying to resolve. Others would also face it, right? Just see if you can, do something to, if you're not connected to the LAN or something, try and connect to that. Which screen are you now on? You're onto this apps screen?
Yeah, I am able to see the app screen.
Now, do you see the new app screen?
No. Not yet. And my signal is pretty much good. So I don't understand what could be the issue. I mean, yesterday it was fine, and quite some time back it was okay.
Okay, no problem. So there might be some issue with that part, but no worries because we have the recording here. So basically what we have to understand is we need to go to setup, create, and then click on new button. And from there it will, it's just a wizard. So it will take us through some screens. We just need to do one thing here. We just need to do a small thing here. That is, mention only the label and name of the app. Rest whatever comes, click on next, next, next. Your app will get created, right? So what are the other things which are the part of app creation? We will get into those aspects, profiles and all those things. We will talk about those later. So as of now, we are just going to create the app. So this app is done. We are fine with it. Now, if we come into this recruitment manager app, we can go ahead and create objects for this, right? So the first object that I need for this recruitment manager is to track all the jobs. Okay. So for tracking the job, we'll create an object. How do you create an object? Go to setup. Go to create objects. This time you will not go to apps. This time you will go to objects. Click on new custom object. Give it a name. Jobs. Scroll down. Okay. Don't make any changes anywhere. Click on save. Okay, just give a name, second name, and click on save. The moment you click on save, the object is created. Object is what? It is the table in the backend. So once your object is created here, what happens? You are able to see, it takes you to the screen where you can see the details of the object. Sonali, are you on the screen? Custom object job detail screen?
Yeah, now.
Now you are on this? Okay. So see, whenever you try and create an object on Salesforce, by default it creates 4 standard fields. Okay, what is the standard and custom thing? Standard is what Salesforce provides. This standard and custom is something that we will use a lot. Fine, so you need to have these two terminologies in mind. Very simple, standard is something which has been created by Salesforce. Why are they calling it standard? Because those are standard for everyone. What Salesforce has provided, like account object, that is standard for you and me. But this job object, this is a custom one because I have created, but you do not have. Right? You may or may not have. So that is the thing. So standard is something which Salesforce has provided, custom is what we create. So by default, you see 4 standard fields on the object. Any object you create, it will by default have 4 standard fields. What 4 standard fields will be there? Anytime you create an object, 4 standard fields are there. What are those? Created by, last modified by, owner, and name. See this? Created by, name, last modified by, owner. These 4 fields will be there. In addition to these fields, if you want any other fields, you can go ahead and create them as custom fields. So these standard fields will be there for everyone. Whoever goes and creates any custom object, these 4 standard fields are going to be there. Whatever you need apart from this, you can go ahead and create that. Let's say you want to create in the job application, so 4 fields are by default there. Last modified by, owner, and name. So if there is a description of the job or job description, and if you have some other field, let's say skill required for the job. Okay, that's it. So these 4 fields are by default there. These 2 fields you'll have to create custom. Fine. So how do you create? Same thing, same way. Custom field, new. Click on new custom field. I want to create a field for job description. So for job description, what data type I need? You'll have to go ahead and select which data type you need for that. Okay. Scroll down and select the right data type for it. Okay. For example, text area. The text area will allow you to put up to 255 characters. That's fine. Click on next. You could have also taken a text area long. Let me take text area long. So whatever data types are here, you have those defined in the right hand side. Text area is 255 characters. Text area long is these many characters. So you can just go and read the one and select the exact thing that you need. Let's say I need a text area long for job description. What will be the length of it? You can define. Put the label and name for the field. Click on next. make it visible, go to next, save it. So the job description field is done. Now I need one more field, which is the skills required for the job. So let's say that I want to have a pick list there. Let's say this is the pick list field. These are the values that you want in the drop down. Click on next. Make it visible for the entire thing. Just click on this visible for now. Click on next. Go ahead and save it. So we have created this object and we have created 2 custom fields. 4 standard fields were automatically created by Salesforce. So these 6 fields are there. So this object now has 6 columns. Okay, that's fine. Now the object has been created in the backend, but I don't see any connector. Okay, so it's more like you are having a light, but you do not have a switch to the light. So how do you operate with it? Right. So the object that you have created has got into the backend. Now you need a tab here to connect to that. How do you bring in that tab? Very simple. Go to setup, create. This time click on create tabs. Okay. Say new custom object tab. There's an option called custom object tab. Click on new. Select the object for which you want to create the tab. You want to create a tab for job object. Click on this. Select the tab style. Tab style is basically a combination of an icon and a color. You can select whatever you want. And go to next. This step you can skip. Don't do anything here. Go to next. Okay, now while creating the tab, it asks you a question: under which all apps you want to see this tab, right? So you just want to see it under the recruitment manager. If you want to see the same tab under some other app also, you should select that app as well. But I just want to see this tab under recruitment manager. So this is done. Click on save. Got this? Now you see your tab has appeared here on the recruitment manager app. Fine. So home tab is default. It will be there in all the apps that you have. And apart from home tab, if you want to allow some standard tabs here, you can call them, or you just create your own tabs. So this is recruitment manager, first object and the first tab that we have created. Right.